Hey, what's going on, guys? So it has been about 2 years since I did a What's in My Backpack video, and things have changed. Some of you guys have been asking for an update, so let's just get into it. So let's start right off with the backpack. As you can see, this is a different backpack than what I was using a few years ago. This is the eBags Professional Slim Laptop Backpack, and it is my absolute favorite bag for work purposes that I've ever used. I do have some other bags for like hiking and for traveling, but this thing is amazing. And it's actually a Colorado company, which is pretty cool. Didn't know that when I bought it. But this thing, I think it's about like 80 bucks right now. So it's definitely not at that higher price range that my other bags are at. It's also not a $20 backpack, but for my purposes, it is awesome and the price was pretty good. So the main thing I love about this backpack, number one, it can stand up on its own. I've never had a backpack that really like stands up and doesn't flop over. But the big thing I love here is it's got this bottom compartment here that is just like perfectly made for my MacBook charge cord. And every other backpack I've ever used, I've had to have some sort of like weird, thing I gotta dig into or some extra case to keep the cord nice and organized. This thing has a little compartment built right in for it. And the nice thing is if you don't want to use this as a cord space, you can actually come in here to the top of the bag and remove this little hard insert. So you can create more space in this main storage compartment if you want to. But for me, this is awesome. So the one caveat I will say about this particular bag is it is a work bag first in my mind. It doesn't have like a ton more storage than what you'd see in like a messenger bag, maybe a little bit more, but when it comes to things like stuffing a hoodie in here or stuffing a jacket in here, that's where you start to push the limits. And I found that I can get a hoodie in there, but I don't think I'd be able to get a jacket. All right, that caveat aside, let's talk about some of the pockets here. So the top, you've got your standard laptop compartment. I've got my laptop in here. We'll go over what's in the bag in just a second. And then there's a little divider where I like to keep notebooks and a couple of other things in there. Pretty simple and straightforward. At the top of the bag, you also have a smaller iPad compartment, and it's actually padded with like a fabric material that's very soft, so if you didn't have a case on your iPad, this would actually protect the screen pretty well still. But where it gets really nice for organizational purposes is this front compartment. I really love this thing because it zips on 3 sides. So instead of digging in and having to organize my things from the top and find things, I can just open this flap all the way. And as you can see, there are tons of zippers, there's mesh, there's all sorts of compartments in here. So everything is able to be kept very organized. And for me at least, I really, really love that. The one last thing I will mention is it has a hideable water bottle holder, which is pretty sweet. On some other bags, you've got the water bottle holders like always just sticking out and getting in the way if you don't have a bottle. But on some other bags, you just never have one at all. So this is a nice little compromise. It doesn't have 2, so I can't carry like a ton of stuff with me in terms of drinks, but it at least has this one. All right, so enough about the bag itself. Let's get into what I'm carrying in this thing on a daily basis. Now, keep in mind that I haven't been a student for a few years, so this is very tailored to the specific work that I do, and I'm carrying maybe far fewer papers than you'd carry as a student, but I still think there are gonna be some things in here that you might find useful regardless of where you are as a student or as a professional. First things first, I'm rocking a 2015 MacBook Pro. This thing is pretty specced out because I wanted to have something where I could edit video on the go. I've also got some paper stuff, so I've got a very simple sketchbook. I think this is just from Michaels, and I use this to make sketches for videos occasionally or to do like maps of things that I'm planning out for future videos. And in addition to the sketchbook, we have got a regular Mead 5-star notebook. Nothing really fancy here, nothing fancy about the pen I have in here. It's all from Walmart or Target. But I do like having a paper notebook because sometimes being able to just write things down while taking notes on an online course I'm taking or planning out a video as B-roll, I just like being able to do it on paper. And finally, I do have one single, very torn up and battered purple folder. So occasionally I will get receipts I need to keep or handouts or just random papers. There's like a contract I need to sign in here. Now, if you're a student and you have multiple classes, one folder is not gonna cut it. And I've never been a fan of keeping multiple folders in your backpack. Rather, I really like those accordion binder things because they give you multiple different pockets where you can keep every class's assignments and handouts nicely organized and separated, but it is one unit. It's not a jumble of folders. The last thing I have in this main compartment is one of these Apple Bluetooth keyboards. I don't use this with my laptop, but sometimes I like to be able to write with my iPad because it creates a much more distraction-free writing experience. And when I'm flying on a plane somewhere, using this in tandem with the iPad mini works so much better than using a laptop in those tiny little coach seats. Speaking of the iPad, I have an iPad mini 4, and this is using a very cheap but very high quality case from Amazon that I'll link to in the description below. It's got that magnetic front, so you get that same like smart cover on-off thing, and it can fold into multiple different configurations for typing or watching movies. So I really like this thing, and I've come to use this iPad more than I thought I would. I use it for reading, I use it for writing, and also basically every video I film, I have this up next to me somewhere kind of by the camera to bring up the script outline for reference. In the main storage compartment, we have first and foremost the Bose Qc25 noise canceling headphones. And I gotta be honest, I was a little skeptical about noise canceling headphones at first, especially given the price at the time when I bought. But my friend Martin got a free pair of, I think they were the Beats ones, right? Yeah. Yeah, you get the Beats ones. And he let me try them out, and I was like, these are a game changer. So I went out, I tried the Beats ones. I didn't find them comfortable because I've got kind of a big head. So I just went all the way up and I got the Bose ones. And these things are great. They don't sound better than a lot of the other non-noise canceling headphones out there, but what they do, at least for me, is they open up a whole like plethora of other study spots that I wouldn't have considered in the past. Because now noise is almost like a non-issue. I can go study in a very noisy coffee shop. I can go study in somewhere where they're blasting music, and these things basically just drown out the world, allow me to play my study playlist or Brain FM or whatever I want to listen to. It's just awesome. It means I can wake up, I can bike to pretty much wherever I want to work and know I can focus there. Now, the one thing about the Bose Qc25 in particular is that they are expensive. I think I paid about $350 for these, but like I said earlier, that was back then, and noise canceling technology has both progressed quite a bit and has gotten cheaper. So if you don't want to pay this much for these ones, and these probably are the best ones currently, but there is the Cowan E7, which are about 70 bucks on Amazon, so less than 1/3 the price of these, and a lot of people have said that they do almost just as good of a job with the noise cancellation and just as good of a job with sound quality. So that might be an option to look into. Now, in addition to the Bose, I also have the Plantronics Backbeat Fit Bluetooth headphones that I use for both workouts and when I'm riding my bike on trails to listen to audiobooks. And a lot of you guys have asked me about these on my Instagram, so I wanted to include them in the video. Even though they're not always in my backpack, they're often in my workout bag. The other thing that I keep in the main storage compartment is books. A lot of times when I go to a coffee shop to write, I have a lot of books with me to research, to pull references from, and these just basically help me to write my videos. And yes, I do have the iPad, but I'm a person who really does like physical books as well, so oftentimes my bag is full of these. Of course, as I showed you before, down in this cord storage compartment, I've got the charger cord to my MacBook Pro, and now we're getting into this small organizer compartment. So in here, I have got an extra charge cord for my phone, very useful to have, along with the little charger port thing, and this little accessory thing that goes with the MacBook Pro cord. I never use this, but I keep it just in case I happen to need it. Up in here, I've got one of these multi-tools. Now this isn't like a professional Gerber one that's like 50 bucks. It's like a $10 one from Amazon, but it actually does a pretty darn good job if I need to like cut something or need pliers. Very useful to have. And here's a bunch of business cards that are not very interesting, though I do have my membership card to the Denver Botanical Gardens, which is a very nice place to go study sometimes. Over on this side, first and foremost, I have some sunglasses because I live in Denver, which is about 4,000 feet closer to the sun as the place where I previously lived, and I also have some sunscreen for the exact same reason. In here, there's also these dongles for the MacBook Pro. I've got the Ethernet one. There's gum and Halls. I don't exactly know how those got in there, but I suppose those are helpful. And the VGA port as well for the MacBook Pro, just in case I need to go to a conference and do a presentation and they don't happen to have a Thunderbolt hookup. This is nice to have. And the last couple of items here, number one, I've got an iPad stylus. Now, I don't use this very often, but I did use it for drawing on the iPad a while ago, and it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, so it's nice to have. And lastly, I have got a pack of business cards, and these are from Moo, and they're just real simple. I designed them myself, but they're nice to have for conferences as well. Are you fascinated by this thing?
That case come with them because that's cool too.
You can buy it on Moo.
If I were watching, I would be interested in it.
Good point. Yes, you can also get this particular case on Moo. They don't come with the business cards because it's like this nice like faux leather, but I don't know, it's like 10 bucks extra, I think. So It's nice to have, it's pretty classy. So guys, if you are curious about anything I talked about, I'm gonna link to most of these things down in the description below. And additionally, because it's near the beginning of the semester, we have a guide over on College Info Geek, my website, called the Ultimate College Packing Checklist. So if you're going to college and you need stuff beyond what goes in your backpack, we have compiled like a huge list of all the things you'll need for your dorm, including school supplies, kitchen supplies, bathroom supplies. All that stuff is linked down in that guide, which you'll find in the description as well. Other than that, I want to thank you guys as always for watching. I really appreciate you. And if you're not subscribed yet, you can subscribe with that button right there in the corner to get new videos every single week. And you can also click right there to get a free copy of my book on how to earn better grades. Also, if you do happen to be starting a new semester soon, you might want to check out our latest episode on the podcast, which is all about how to get prepared for that new semester. And you can watch one additional video on this channel if you want to by clicking your face right there. Yes, your face, not your finger. It won't work if it's your finger. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.